I'd like to call this meeting to order. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have any public comment today? Public comment, okay. And we'll move it on to JD then.
Good afternoon, JD King, Page County Engineer. Beautiful day in Page County. And even toward the end of the engineer update, it'll be more beautiful yet. Engineer update went out Monday around noon. Blades are out. Rock haul with our trucks is going on with 4. Finished up some rocking on 200th Street. East of Shan. The excavator crew took some plank up to the Red Oak auction that we salvaged from a abandoned field entrance. We got a hole down on 280th Street, so we're gonna do a little ditching ahead of the project on J53. And we got some ditching to do on D Avenue, north of 110th, on P Avenue, just west of town here. And then we'll go to removing some abandoned field entrances. We're doing these kind of things now, so we're not digging across roads, interfering with the planners. Old patchers were up to D Avenue. Some of that seal coat is self-reverting, but we do have a plan for that in the future. The spray guy's doing his guardrail thing when it's not too windy. And we had some guys helping out the farm to market rock haul. In the shop, we got a tanker load of oil in for our spray patcher, and it's ready to go. I didn't see it was in the shop this morning, or it was in the yard this morning. It wasn't out at 7 o'clock, but it's warm enough. All the snow equipment has been taken off the trucks and put away. And we did some tire work on the belly dump. The farm to market rock haul continues. It was up in the northeast. It is in the north central today, I think, on 190th Street. Should be done next week. The J53 base stabilization and seal coat project let today. I'll have paperwork on that, I hope, in next week's board meeting.
Okay.
Here's some unofficial news from the letting. We had 4 bidders. That's the most bidders we've had. We used to have 1 bidder, then 2, and then last year we had 3, and this year we have 4. Apparent low, JB Holland, who we've had before, at $1,612,200, which is $146,000 a mile, which is slightly above the cost per mile. The J Road and J55 both went for $243,000 a mile. So prices are quite steady. Or given what's transpired between 2023 when we did J Road, 2024 when we did J55, and today. That we don't know when the contractor will come in. It'll be this season. So it's a good thing. And I'm sure the people on the J53 will be pleased that we finally got there. But since 2019, when we ground it up. So they've been very patient. I appreciate that. Next week, we have some guys going to excavator safety training in Atlantic. And the DOT budget program, I'll give it to you in a draft form next week. And hope to have a public hearing and approval on it on May 5th. Questions about the update? This is not an agenda item, but the map you have in front of you shows abandoned field entrances. And this is, we've been working on this the last couple of years. Last fall, when we lost one, or a farmer went through a poor field entrance bridge, renewed our drive to remove these and replace them with pipes. Or in this case, with abandoned ones, we just removed the bridge and they've not been used for years. So just some of the efforts we've been taking to keep our ag community safe. Thank you.
I drove by some yesterday when I was out in the country and I thought, I don't think I'll try to drive over those. Okay, thanks, JD. Okay, Chris.
Chris Fall, Site Superintendent for the Page County Jail for the Samuels Group. Well, it's been busy out the site again. Plumbing, HVAC, they're installing gas lines on the roof up to the air handlers, and ductwork install continues in detention. Yesterday, they started running the main gas line from the highway, or the corner down to our site. So we're hoping this week we'll have the main gas hooked up and that the Alliant will hook up a meter for us. So we finally got that accomplished. Electrical, they're doing security wiring to the cells. Fire alarm system is still being put in. Data lines are being ran to all the offices, and lighting is being installed in the non-detention area. So they get their power packs. We'll have permanent lighting going on in the building as well. Concrete, the east parking lot is done. They just got done pouring the south parking lot and drive. So all of the parking and drive around the building is done. They're now ready to come down the road and put in the driveway. So I think we're scheduling that for May 6th. We'll have a lot of the crews hopefully off site by then. So it won't be such a hardship for them to get in and out of the building. But the sticklers will start pouring that driveway. This week last week we had a visit from the Iowa DOT. They were doing culvert inspections and found that one that goes underneath the drive to the site was bad, so they replaced it last Friday. So that's been replaced. Probably the big, lot of finishing going on out there. Painting still continues. They've turned down the hallway, headed towards booking, and they have started in booking with block fill. So a lot of painting going on. Detention frames are going up. They should be, we're hoping they're completed by the end of the week. By Friday, detention frames will be up. They'll still have to do some detail welding, but glazing is being ordered. They're putting up the steel panels, and then HVAC is starting to run out through the cells into the hallways. So a lot of activity back in detention. Tile flooring went in to all the bathrooms up front and in the lobby area. Probably one of the biggest things you can see from outside today, they put the storefront in, which is the vestibule, and they put all the windows in. So there's some natural light coming in the building, and that storefront really makes that front look different now. Access flooring went into the dispatch area, and that is installed, and ceilings are still being ACT ceilings are still being put in as well. So a lot of stuff going on. Next week's look ahead, maybe next 2 weeks is still doing a lot of finishing, a lot of painting, and trying to get that detention area buttoned up so we can start painting and doing finishing in there. We're looking at epoxy flooring starting shortly too. So once we get that epoxy flooring down, then fixtures can start going in and we can start turning on water and making it a usable building. So any questions?
I saw the windows going in and 5 windows, right?
Yep, 5 windows.
5 windows.
There. All the skylight, all the security bars are in the skylights. Those got installed and they were powering up the skylights today off of the roof. So they'll start finishing those out for the steel ceilings going into the cells. But we've got a lot of natural light starting to happen inside the building, but 5 windows in the vestibule. So that's all you get.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
As we went through a couple of weeks ago, it was like, here's one window, here's another window. Getting 5 windows up.
5 windows. So,
Yep.
okay.
Thank you, Chris. Amazing.
Yep.
I wish the pictures that he sends would be
Bigger.
bigger. Well, you can make
You
them
can do
bigger,
that.
but to say exactly where they are and what they are. Yeah. Because they're pretty cool. So, okay, our next item for discussion and action is the purchase of a courthouse lawnmower. We have 3, I guess there's maybe 4 bids. We have 2 from Whips. One's a little bit lighter than the other one, I think. One from Agrivision and one from Green Giant. And I found out what the gauge means, so I'm now educated. It looks like the 6 gauge is the most expensive because it's the better deck,
Yeah.
correct? Okay. So,
Y'all have any questions?
oh, you are here. I didn't see you, Troy, sorry. Oh,
Yeah, do you wanna talk about what you've, like, so is there any benefit to having the John Deere since we already have a John Deere? As far as parts and things or interchangeable things that we could,
No, not really.
not really?
Yeah, they're not, they'll be two different machines.
Okay. And then your plan would be just to keep the old John Deere as for snow removal
Yeah.
only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Realize you won't have a cab on this.
Well, yeah, and the cab is actually problematic in the summertime. I have to pull the doors off to mow with it. There's no AC. And then it also sucks everything into the cooler. This time of year, it's not so bad because everything's wet and heavy and it doesn't get quite so bad. But once it gets over 90, I'll have to stop and blow that cooler out or it'll overheat and shut off. And that takes time too, because you gotta stop, get out, shut the engine off, open the hood, you gotta open the cab a little more too. You know, it takes quite a bit more time.
You want to explain to us how many yards you mow?
I mow the courthouse, the jail, and the annex building.
Anything on the new jail plans, or are they gonna have somebody else do that?
You know, I've been told before Kim retired, she said that I wasn't going to, and that was from, I believe that came from Charles, but I don't know. I mean, that could all be something that changes too.
How long does it take you to mow all those now?
Just the mowing, I
Yeah.
think here it takes 2 hours, and then the annex and the sheriff's office are about an hour each. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but I started mowing at 10:30 today, And at 3:15, I'm still not done. I just barely got started on the annex. So there's a lot of other things that go into it. You know, I mean, it's not just, I mean, I probably could just cut it and leave it at that, but there's string trimming and cleaning up the sidewalks and everything afterwards. There's usually a lot of trash too. Sometimes I can spend a lot of time picking up trash beforehand, but anymore lately I just start mowing, and if I gotta get out and pick it up, I just get out and pick it up.
And then you start again the next week.
Yes. And sometimes it's twice a week. In the spring, it's a lot more frequent. So those numbers go up. Then in the fall with the leaf cleanup, you know, I could be out there doing leaves every 3 to 5 days.
And it's looked real good. Last,
Thank you.
So you went and looked at all these, I assume, and rode them, sat on them.
I sat in them. I didn't take any for a test drive.
So like some of the better ones and have better suspension, things of that nature.
Yeah, the more expensive one that got quoted, I think he kind of saw a look on my face when I was getting the quote from that one, and he quoted me another one a little bit lower. It's got a much nicer seat on it. It's going to be a back saver kind of thing. It's more of a commercial unit. It's got a bigger air filter on it. Something like that would last a really long time. It might even be a little overkill. I'm gonna be honest with you. The 3 that I had quoted all have serviceable transmissions. So the Hustler is actually a residential unit, but it happens to have a serviceable transmission because I believe you need to change the oil on those to make them last. You know, if you get one with a sealed transmission, it's just however long you get with it.
And we're talking mainly the same engine, same deck width, all that pretty.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah, they're pretty similar. I think the John Deere was a 54, which I think I would be okay with because there's some places I think it might be easier to get around in, but I think a 60 is fine.
Any preference?
Do I have a preference?
the nicer seat
Yeah,
with the
Yeah.
suspension.
I mean, there's a lot of rough spots in the yard. I've tried to patch a lot of them. But, you know, I mean, I mean, I just mow slow now. I mean, when I first started, it was kind of like, I've got stuff to do. I need to get this done. And then, you know, Saturday comes and you can feel it in your back. You can feel it in your shoulders. So, I mean, it seems like a small amount of mowing, but it's not smooth terrain.
Good.
What was do you remember what the gauge was on the Hustler? I think it says on this,
I think that one was,
Hustler's the lower one.
was that the
than it-
lower gauge deck?
Yeah.
Okay.
The 11 gauge.
So. Still out for a mower.
Lots of people pay that at home. It's like, whoa.
And then your other thing you had here was just the estimate that somebody would charge us to mow.
yeah. So I think what we would pay out, just to give you guys a figure that it would pay for itself in a year. At least the $5,000 one will. So I think your return of investment on that would be worthwhile. I mean, if it was gonna take,
I'm assuming it's higher than that now because this is from 2022,
yes, yep,
so it's 4 years old.
yep, I think,
It's
Green Giant,
probably hasn't gotten cheaper to mow.
no, Green Giant Lawn Care, he didn't write up anything official for me, but he said for the courthouse, he'd charge roughly 125,
No.
even though he's not currently accepting any more jobs.
Okay.
So,
Do we have a building to keep these in?
no.
We don't.
We don't have a shed anywhere. Some of the attachments have been stored out at secondary roads before. But it's tough getting in and out of the sheds over there.
We've talked about it over the years, building a shed.
Yeah, I had one quoted not long after I first started, and I want to think they were between 5,000 to 6,000. the tractor with the cab had to have a special door put on the shed so it could get in and out. That's been at least 2 years. So it wouldn't be too crazy different.
It'd be nice just to have like a carport to put it under, just so it's not sitting in the weather.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have to necessarily have a big full shed, but
We could always put a shed up by the annex if we needed to. We talked about it here by the chiller at one point, years ago. But,
And I don't know if insurance companies have issues with you putting it
Yeah.
that close to a building.
right, yeah,
The annex, I'm not sure, it doesn't have fire suppression, but here with the fire suppression, I think they want an X amount of distance from a building. Iowa, I'm not sure of, that was when I worked in Missouri.
so the one is basically a residential. Hustler, is that what you said?
Yes,
that's got a 3-year, 300-hour warranty.
I got a 4-year warranty.
Warranty. I'm assuming those are both on whips, those are both 4-year warranties,
I think so.
are they? Doesn't list the warranty on this one. It doesn't list the warranty on this one for agrivision. At least not on.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Did they say on agrivision,
I'm not sure.
Troy?
No.
Okay. Maybe there isn't any since it's not there.
I would think it would have something on it, but
Hmm.
I couldn't speculate.
I would suggest we go with, oh, no, I won't. Never mind. I'll let you guys do it.
But just so everybody knows, we have a Hustler Raptor 60-inch for $4,949. We have a Agrivision John Deere Z5530 Z-Track for $6,275. And I'm not sure what this one is from Whips.
It's a Gravely.
It's a what? Gravely?
Gravely.
Gravely, okay, Gravely for 6,500 and another one that's commercial grade, that's 7645.
So the seat on the second Gravely is not as, not suspension,
No.
no.
And that may be something that I could discuss with a different mower as well as, hey, is it possible to swap this for a nicer seat?
I would like to go with this less expensive one, but if it's not a commercial grade, it's probably not gonna hold up as well.
Probably don't. And it's the higher,
Yeah,
gauge too, so the
right.
deck might bend, whatever.
So you think we ought to go commercial?
Pardon me?
Think we should go commercial?
Yeah,
I
so
would.
that would hold up.
So my recommendation is if we're gonna go commercial, we go back to Green Giant, get a bid on commercial more, because we're That way we're talking more closely related, and agrivision on commercial mower. Instead of this residential mower on 2 or 3 of them and one commercial thrown in there, so.
Did they have any higher ones?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yep, I was trying to be equitable.
Exactly.
Yeah, the big thing for me was the serviceable transmission and having a Kawasaki engine. I think those two things are gonna really increase the longevity of it. While I do mow quite a bit, it's not like I'm doing 12 or 16 hours a week on it. So,
And then I'd make sure on the warranty, you know, commercial on the Hustler, 4-year, 2-year, 3-year, whatever it is, and agrivision, make sure that warranty's similar. So then we can kind of compare
okay,
more
Yeah.
apples to apples.
all right, that sounds good.
But I think a commercial is the way to go because you're gonna get your money's worth out of it.
Okay,
Yeah,
Plus, you're gonna get a nicer ride,
all right,
heavier.
sounds good. I'll get some more quotes and I'll get back to you guys by Friday.
okay,
Perfect.
thanks, Troy.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay. We'll table that for another week, maybe. Put it on next week's, Mariah. Okay. Our next item is a possible closed session for conservation. Michelle, do you want to say anything before we? Yeah, okay, Jim will. Okay,
One of the
Alright.
things we have to do when we're closing the session
yes,
is cite the Iowa Code chapter we're under. In the agenda, it cites to 21.5.1 sub I. I think it should be sub J.
Jay,
'Cause
okay,
it's dealing with real estate rather than personal.
okay,
That's all I had to add.
okay. So we actually probably need to read that.
Yep.
We normally read it. You don't have that with you. Do you have the IJ, do you have J?
I do.
21 IJ so that we could actually read it if we're going into closed session. I would need to hear a motion. To go into closed session under chapter 21.5.1J. Which says,
Which says, that is to discuss the purchase or sale of a particular real estate only when premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the price the government body would have to pay for the property or reduce the price the government body would receive for that property. The minutes and audio recording of a session closed under this paragraph shall be available for public examination when the transaction discussed is completed.
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session per Iowa Code, chapter 21.5.1J.
do I hear a second? I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Did you vote? Okay, 3-0. Mariah, do you have the tape recorder and everything? Or Corey does, okay. What's the easiest? We've got Conservation Board here and Becca, and you and us. So there's 3 who aren't maybe, so we'll just ask them to step out and we'll shut the doors and go into closed session. Yes. They've already been in the closed session. Tell me when we're ready. Okay, we're coming out of closed session. We came out of closed session at 4:53 PM. And I'll now hear a motion.
Motion to open the board meeting again.
I'm sorry, what?
Motion to open the board meeting.
Yeah,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion open at 4:55. Okay. Now, we want to proceed with what's another motion?
Yeah, I would make a motion that we pursue the purchase of the property on contingency of full funding from or
Finding
finding full funding and not using tax dollars.
Second.
been moved and seconded. Do I guess, let's have a vote. Why don't we do a roll call? Mayor,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Clark, yes. Motion carried. So I guess we'll just move forward. Okay. That all we need, Jim?
All you do.
Okay. Wasn't too bad.
Forget your money.
Hmm. Oh, I think I need to put that back on. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Our next item, agenda item is board communication. Do we have any?
I will have SWIPCO meeting Thursday.
Okay.
And, I did, reach out to the bid, winner for the VA building
Mhm.
in Shenandoah. They will be here next week. And we can go over contracts and whatever we need to do there. They will be in person.
I'll have samples.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm hoping. Also, I did reach out to Fremont County supervisors, but I have not heard anything back on the Johnson Run. Getting together to look at that. I did talk to AJ about it, let him know the process for approval of the quote and that it would be up to both boards to vote on that. I also had sent out emails to the Fremont County Board, but like I said, I've not gotten any response yet. So.
Okay. And I did ask Angie, our treasurer, because Page County holds the money for Johnson Run. We have a balance of $68,143.63.
Okay.
So I think we need to look at this carefully and see if everything that was listed on there is necessary. So we can do that. Okay. Anything? Nothing? I can't remember what I did. So tonight we have a supervisor forum at 7 o'clock here. So we will have that. Okay, our next item is discuss approved claims.
Make a motion, we approve the claims.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed, carried. Discuss action meeting minutes from last week, which was the 14th of April.
Motion to approve the minutes as stated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. And our next item is to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 4:59. Thank you, everybody, for